There it is. We're live.
I don't know what happened.
Technology happened. The beauty of online streaming happened. We went 15 minutes. I literally, did a strip dance right on that stage there, and everybody missed it.
Oh my God. Okay. So for everybody who's just joining us in, I don't know what happened. Can you hear me?
There it is.
Oh, there it is. Okay. I don't know. Uh, hey, everybody. I don't know what the hell is going on here. There we go. Who knows?
I'm telling
Okay.
you, it's the joys of live streaming that you never know. Like you do a whole 20 minutes to find out that nope, none of that was live.
For
Or you
everybody,
do
I'm sorry. Yeah. For everybody who's just joining us, I don't know what happened. We were we hit the button and then the button didn't play and I don't know what happened. Oh, Dios mío. Uh,
Oh man, I said let's start the whole show right over.
you
Come
know what?
on. You got me all day, baby. I ain't going nowhere. Let's do this.
That's what happens. Let me share this over to Facebook so that people on Facebook can see this now. Um, Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. My name is Daniel G. Garza. Uh, so for everybody watching, the buttoned off somehow, and the marvels of technology. I'm going to blame it on the rain today because it's raining here in Laguna Beach, and it doesn't often rain. And
Fair.
but for everybody watching, hi, I'm Daniel G. Garza. Welcome to Put It Together Conversations. I'm wearing my Team Ginger shirt today because gingers have no soul, and neither do I. But my guest today is the wonderful content creator, Mr. Red Rich. You guys missed me reading that fabulous bio. We're gonna leave it, so go back and watch the first 10 minutes of the show. But we were having a very juicy sexual conversation in nature.
Yeah.
So if you missed that, you're gonna have to like. We've been playing with Piper. Uh, is it? Hey, why are we stripping? Yes, we were stripping. We
I
just
was.
finished sex video, long distance, and we're bringing it here. So for those of you that are just joining us, let me introduce you in case you don't know him, Mr. Red Rich. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How are you? Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate this. This is gonna be awesome.
Um, so we talked a little bit about how we know each other. So please go back and watch the first 10 minutes of the show. I don't know what happened. I really flaked there for a second. Um, but we're going to start with while you're here. Red Rich, tell us how you put it together.
Yes. So first and foremost, I am a father of two boys, two amazing little boys, 5 and 3. I am a husband and a pain in the ass to my wife, Ayla. Um, I just always liked entertaining, like I was always kind of the loud one, class clown, whatever it might be. And when Twitter and Facebook and even MySpace back in the day were around, I'd always try to make funny posts, but the whole content creation, making videos that really didn't exist until Vine came out. And I was one of the early people to download Vine, and I had a blast over there. I was kind of like a nobody. I think I'm still kind of a nobody now in the social media world, but I was a real nobody there. But I had so much fun, and I loved it. And due to some personal issues with my own inner demons of addiction and whatnot, I had to just kind of just step away from it all. No more content creation, just focus on me. And after fixing or starting to fix some of those issues, came back around and decided this TikTok thing was going to be a really good idea. And just said, you know what? I want to make some content. I want to have some fun, make some videos. I got my kid involved, and it just took off after that. And
I
that
remember watching those first videos, and only because you brought him up, and we don't have to go that far. But your kid was freaking hilarious. Your
Yeah.
kid was amazing. Like I'm gonna admit, I was like the kid's a son. Like let's just forget about
Oh,
this big guy.
he's unbelievable because it would be funny. Like I grew a following too of some younger audience because of that. So they would be like, "Oh, he's funnier than you. Your son's funnier than you," which is fine by me. I'll always put my kids before me. but they were like, how come you're not funny? Like, I'm like, who do you think writes this stuff? You think my then 4-year-old is coming up with these words? But to his genius, I would tell him a line. We'd write the stuff down. I'd come up with these skits throughout the day, and I'd go home to him, be like, okay, bud, I got an idea for a video. Let's do this. And I would tell him what to say or what to do. And within 2 to 3 tries, nailed it every time. He remembered them. He's, maybe it's a future for him. Who knows? And then came to, unfortunately, it's the internet. There's some really horrible human beings on the internet and people that have bad motives. And we ran into one of those people and had saved videos of me and my son on his phone. He was a child predator, and we found out who he was, and TikTok came together as a community. I had this person removed, and as far as I know, police were involved and actually went to his house, because it wasn't just my child's video. He had tons. And that day forward, I said, I'm not putting him on social media anymore. And it's really my fault for not thinking that way, but it sucks because you just want to have fun and innocent things with your kids or family. That's the rough side of content creation. So I vowed that day that I would no longer make those videos with him. As much as people enjoy them, as much as I enjoyed them, it just wasn't worth it to me. Views, likes, TikTok fame, or whatever, it was not worth the safety of my family. And that was it. I didn't do any more with him. He was just in one the other day. It was a picture of him to honor my grandfather, but that's about it.
Yeah, that's for, I think people watching, when you put yourself out on social media, and it really doesn't matter at what level, either you're an amateur content creator or personal speaker, or you're A-list actor or social person, people will find a way to come to you or at you, because I'm by no means famous or anything, but people will find out stuff about me and try to be like, well, you did this, and I, like you right now, like I've always been very open about my addiction and my recovery and who I am and where I came from. Like I don't hide it, because people are going to find out anyway.
Oh yeah.
So I will put it out. Yeah, like if people are going to make money off my sex video, they're going to do it off. I'm going to do. It's not really a sex video. It's not. It's. I was making coffee, and that's.
I've downloaded it twice. I'm just saying.
Thank you. Yes, two people, 2 videos. But where? Okay, first of all, where does the name Red Rich come from?
So when I first started on Vine, my original username was like my initials, RWF, and then some numbers or whatever. And because I was just watching, I wasn't making content at the time. I was just watching stuff. I didn't think I had the guts to do it. And I finally said, okay, I'm going to make a video, but I don't want to use my real name on social media. I don't want my job finding anything like that. So the friends and stuff like that, and my job had always called me Big Red. So I tried Big Red, every option it could come up, nothing. And then like one of the suggested ones was Red and my last name. And I was like, well, what about Red Rich? And I did it. I clicked it. It had like a nice flow. I tried to look up online to see if there was anything at the time Red Rich. There's like a farming company that's Red Rich, but they're not copyrighted or anything like that. So I said, okay, I'll go with that one. Now there's a rapper with the name Red Rich. So for a while on YouTube, it was hard to find me. You would just get some rap videos. He's good though. And it just stuck. And then I stuck with the Red Rich. Everybody kind of knew me as Red or Red Rich, but most people call me Red. And then when I came over to TikTok, I couldn't get the name. I was like so bummed out because it had already been taken, or somebody actually had my old Vines as their TikTok page. They were using some of my old Vines. And then they deleted their account. I waited the 30 days, changed it to Red Rich, had to use the underscore though. And it's there. It's just stuck. And it's kind of the name that everyone went by. So yeah, that was really it. I guess, having the red hair, it does look dark though today. I'm not upset about it, but
you're absorbing my Mexicanness, and you're gonna walk out of the show with a tan. So just to warn you. So can we go back a little bit and talk about, because that's something we both have in common as well. I've been clean and sober now 13 years, going on
Congrats.
14 in June, and uh, you were very open um, about your recovery.
Yeah. I it was one of those things. I say it a lot, and I truly mean it. Like I think I'm pretty good at helping others, and but I'm not the best at helping myself. Yet I think when trying to help others, I somewhat am helping myself. I when I first had, I mean, I've had a row of different addictions, drugs and non-drugs. What had started as a coke habit turned to a pill habit, um, and that's where that was the huge downfall, was the pills. Not that coke wasn't a downfall, but the pills is where I just spiraled everything down. And dealing with that, I wasn't on social media at the time. I was off of it, so nobody except for my very close family knew what was going on. And as an addict, you always think you can one up somebody, or not one up somebody, but you can get around somebody. I can trick these little people. Okay, I've tricked my parents for the last at that time it was 10 years. I've tricked my wife for the last 5 years. I've tricked my friends and my coworkers and my boss into thinking that I'm not doing anything. So I'll go through this detox, I'll get clean, and then I'll have my ways to be able to do it again. And it's sick knowing now that I thought that. So after being 4 years clean, I thought that I was stronger than addiction, and thought, well, I never had a drinking problem. Drinking was never really my issue. I could drink back at, like anybody. I get hammered on the weekends and be fine all week, not drink. Come into COVID and quarantine and the stress of working through it, I started drinking a lot heavier. What went from just like a weekend thing or every couple of days or one or two beers after work was quickly becoming a full 18 rack of Coors Banquet every night. And then when the wife went to sleep, sit in the chair, sneak a bottle of bourbon and drink at least half of that. And then that led to the mornings. The bourbon can go in the coffee. And you know what? I'm going to go get some tropical smoothie and a little vodka in that. And I instantly knew I was going back down this terrible road again. But this time my wife was a lot more keen to seeing it and called me out on it quick. And I had to announce that I was, yeah, I had to admit it. I was an alcoholic. I knew I was. But like you said, this time around, I wanted more eyes on me. I had a good following with TikTok. And I always felt like if the more eyes that are on me, the more people I'm going to let down if I mess up. And the more people that I can't get around. I might be able to get around 3 or 4 of you, but I can't get around whatever at the time. I think it was 200,000 of you. So,
Yeah, and I hear the story. I don't want to giggle, but I hear the story and I'm like, yeah, I know that road. I've seen that movie because I was right there with you. Like you think you're so creative. Like, oh, I'm pulling one on them. But it's what is it? Cut your nose to spite your face kind of
yeah.
thing. Like you're really just screwing yourself over.
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember at the peak of my addiction, I'm an alcoholic and I was a crackhead for many years. And the best, I mean, I got super freaking creative on how to use the drug and how to not get caught. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a quick story. Now, a lot of people don't know the story. At the peak of my addiction, when I was still living on my own, because I lost my apartment and my car and my job, because that's what you do.
Yeah.
And my dealer would come to my house and drop off the drugs because I had a dealer, and that's how good I was. I was a bougie crackhead, but he would come to my house, and then when he got to jail, when he went to jail, his wife took over, and she would bring her daughter with her to deliver the drugs. But I was working at an Italian restaurant at the time, and I would bring leftovers home. So she would sit at my table and feed her daughter. So we would eat while we were doing a transaction, and then she would take all the leftovers because crack is a great diet. It's a great. Yeah, you do not worry about food. Let me tell you. But I would give her my leftovers, and she would take them and leave me drugs with food, and that's how she. And
Isn't it funny how we think that's like we talk about this now, like, how did we do? But at the time, it's like, yeah, whatever. It's normal. This is normal.
Yeah, and it took me several years to get to the point where I can like tell ass. But she would leave, and I would push the couch against the door in case the cops showed up, and I could hear them. And then I would go in the bathroom and put the trash can against that door, because just in case. And then I would get in the shower, close the shower curtain, turn on a lamp. I had this little lamp that I bought that was like one of those LED back when LED lamps.
Sure.
So I would sit in the shower with my pipe and my spoon and everything, and that's where I would do my drugs.
Oh wow!
And then, and it's Now I think about it, I'm like, why do I talk about this in my comedy skits? This would be freaking hilarious. But it's because only people who have been there in those situations would understand.
Yeah. Oh, it's my guy used to come to my job, and I would act like he was a customer. And like, I'm like, how, looking back on it, like the same guy comes every day, has never bought a single thing, but I walk around with him in the store and we hand a notebook back and forth like 4 times. Nobody picked up on this.
Yeah. I had my regulars at the restaurant that would come in, and we used to sell cookies, and they would buy a cookie, like a cookie. And then they would come back and give me back the wrapper that it was in.
Oh, that's so nice of them.
Yes. So they would come in, I'm like, what would you like? I want a cookie. Okay, here's the cookie. Oh, is there money in there? I don't know, maybe. Like, here's the wrapper back. Oh, thank you. I'll take the wrapper in the back and throw it in the trash for you. But yeah, and in the days that I wasn't high, people were like, are you sick? Do you want to go home? Yes, I'm not feeling well. I need to go home. And then I go home and do more drugs. So
yep.
There you go.
That's the way it works.
So let me just remind everybody, we are halfway through the show. We're going to extend the show because we left 10 minutes out of it. We're already going to go long anyway, but we're going to go even longer just for you guys. You're watching Put It Together Conversations. I'm your host, Daniel G. Garza, and my guest today is the marvelous content creator, Mr. V. Ramirez.
That's me.
That's you. Where does your funny come from?
So I sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, like, suffer from like the worst self-confidence in the world. Like, legitimately, I think probably the worst about myself. Like, I'm not, and this is not one of those things where I'm digging for compliments. That is never me. That's not me. I just don't think highly of how I look or how I am. So I used to, well, let's go even back. I was the short one out of all my friends. Like, I was a runt. I think I graduated. I was like 5'6". I was a tiny little skinny redheaded freckle-faced kid, and it was easy to be picked on easily. So my dad was like, okay, you have like 3 options here. Basically, you could either learn how to fight and kick their ass. You could become really good at sports, and then that's, you're in, or just make them laugh with you. Always make people laugh. And it hit me like, okay, well, how do I make them laugh? Well, let me make fun of myself, which, if anybody who follows me knows, I love to make fun of myself. And I've said this to kids before who have asked me, how do you deal with bullies or something like that? If I always felt like if you make fun of everything that you don't like about yourself and you could find a way to laugh about it, then there's nothing that they can say to you that's going to bother you, because you've already said it all. You've already made fun of yourself for that. Nobody can tell me I have a big nose. I've made that joke a million times. Nobody can tell me I'm a ginger. I've made that joke a million times. So you've lost all your ammo to come at me with, and you can no longer bully me. I also did get very good at sports and learned how to fight. So all 3 of them were just trifecta. There was nothing that could hurt me anymore. And I just liked making people laugh. I liked, I always had this thing that I thought people wouldn't really like me for just me, so I better make them laugh. With women growing up, I was like, well, no one's going to want this. And the more times that they're laughing, the more times their eyes are closed, the better chance I have of them enjoying me. So that was pretty much it. And just have a sick sense of humor. My dad's got the king of dad jokes. Grew up in an Italian household where everybody made fun of everybody, and that meant love. and it just kind of went off from there.
I can dig that. Yeah, I mean, I'm 5'6", and I knew. Are you seeing some of these comments?
Smells the jokes coming.
Yeah, it's guys, it's hard to have a serious conversation when y'all are making fun in the background. Keep going, keep doing that. Plus, I'm watching the comments and I'm like, these are people that I love to watch. Like,
and they love you.
no way, they don't even know me. Stop. But yeah, I'm right with you. Like I found out, like I knew that I was different very young, and so I had to rely on other things. It's like I'm not a fighter. I don't know how to fight. Like I know how to kick guys in the nuts and run.
That
And
works.
yeah, that was one of the first things. And a janitor at school taught me that one. He was like, just kick him in the nuts and run. He's like, that's and I did. There was a lot of guys that I kicked, but of course for me it's like, oh my god, how I can't kick them in the nuts, and but I did. Um, but then you learn how to get that energy and make it creative because there's I feel like there's two groups of people. You could take all the bullying and the picking on and the hurt and get depressed and get sad and hate the world, or you can take all that energy that's being thrown your way and um, and use it to be creative and do something and help other people and have compassion. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely, and it's true. I do receive messages from kids and younger generation stuff, and that oh shit, I'm getting old. I could say younger generation. Um, that will ask like, I'm being bullied in school. What do I do? Or I'm being bullied online. Now, listen, we didn't have online when we were kids to be bullied, and I know that it could get serious. But yeah, I never was able to be hurt by a bully. Or I mean, outside of being physically, like if you get tossed down or something like that, but their words just my dad, when my dad said that, it nailed it. Like to be able to laugh at yourself and take away their ammo so fast, they don't know what to do. A bully only has those words because he's really hating himself or mad at himself. So everything that he wanted to say to me, I already said, and I laughed at it. So now he's got nothing. And then it made my life easier.
Yeah, I very early on, and I had some really good therapists because I came out very young, and I remember this one therapist I had, and she was the one that made me aware of the fact that bullies are as insecure as I am, and if I walk into the conversation or the situation with that idea in my head, it's kind of like when people tell you speak in public and imagine everybody naked. Is confront a bully, realizing that they're just as insecure as you are, and you've taken away that power that they have.
Mm-hmm.
It's like kryptonite and Superman. It's like you walk up to them and go, "Hey, I get it. You're like you don't like me because I'm a mirror to whatever insecurities you have. Cool.
Yeah.
And that really helped. Like, but to be, I'm still insecure now. Like
Yeah.
I see my videos. I see the comment. Um, I like this comment. Everybody who bullied me in high school got slapped with the ugly stick.
Shit.
It's Piper, you're freaking adorable. That's why.
The best co-host in the world, right there, ladies and gentlemen.
But because I suffer from anxiety and I'm insecure, and I mean even after being on your show for 2.5 hours, I walked out of there and looked at Christian and I go, "Was that okay?"
Oh,
And he's like, "Are you serious? Does that make sense to you?"
no, it does. As soon as my show is over, as soon as this is over today, I'm going to replay the whole thing and watch it. And I'm not a person that has to see what did I look like? I want to know how bad I did or how dumb I sounded or what sense I didn't make. I'm my biggest critic in the entire world. And I'm not ever looking, if I ever go to anybody and ask them, what do you think of this? Or how did this go? It's not for validation. It's to make sure that I didn't completely ruin your show or ruin mine and Piper's or ruin Vanilla's or whoever's I'm on at the time. It's not a validation thing. It's because, like you said, I don't have the confidence in myself, which shocks people because they see this person making this content that I'm not arrogant or anything like that, but you look like you got your shit together. But really, I watch it 50 times before I post it and I go, ugh. you know, I'm just not sure if I'm never sure of myself. But as soon as a camera turns on, I'll make damn sure you don't know that.
Right. Oh yeah, no, definitely. Kind of like my sex life, but that's another story. Yeah, and because Vanilla, you're freaking amazing. Like he's the same. I'm like you, and we really need to start a support group for ourselves. But I did a presentation for this company yesterday on advocacy and HIV and diversity, and this organization that I'm board of directors for invited me to speak on their behalf. And I felt like I rambled for 30 minutes, and I was like, this is stupid. Luckily, they sent me the video, and I was watching. I'm like, why did you say that? That was not the place for that joke. And as I'm about to email the director and say, hey, I appreciate you being there with me. I'm sorry that I embarrassed you. And all of a sudden, I get emails from the company saying, oh my God, your story was such an impact. You did such a great job. And I was like, why can't I see that? Why is it so hard?
Mhm.
But do you think that little bit of insecurity is what keeps you working to be better?
In a way, yeah, it's absolutely it's a driving force. Like I would love to get to the point one day when I don't have to question anything that I'm doing, and is it good enough? And I know me and you have spoken on a private level of the is it good enough thing. But on this type, I mean like the content that I'm making or the joke that I'm making. Not me as a person so much, but is it good enough to be put? The goal is to one day get there. On the other hand of that, I don't know if I ever do want to get to that point, because it's a little humbling to question myself on my content or jokes or something like that. I feel like if I'm ever to the point where I can't question if this one's going to be good enough, then maybe I've gotten too arrogant or too lost in it. So that little bit of is this good? Is this not good? Might be a good thing in the content creator realm. Personally, it's a horrible thing to do to yourself, but
Yeah, because even like Cardivo, for those of you watching who do know who the Cardivo is, it's my alter ego, the Cardivo, and I've been doing readings now professionally almost 9 years, and like I'm very confident in my spirit guides and the messages and my angels that deliver the messages for you guys, and I trust them. I trust what they do and how they use me for that. What comes out of here is what I doubt, and then especially when you're reading online and people can't reply, or like you don't have anything to go by, like am I on the right track? But people ask me, are you really confident? I'm like, no, I'm chicken shit most of the time. But I have to trust in that it's working. And again, I'm not here to talk about myself.
well, it is, and it is working. I mean, I don't know if that the 10 minutes that we were on before is going to air, but I'd said it, and I would say it again now to make sure. Yeah, that's what you do there. And I know that is separate, but you've single-handedly, like, you pretty much saved my marriage and me from being lost. So, yeah, I'm forever grateful to you. And I think what you do is great. And yeah, that confidence thing is that's a real pain in the ass.
By the way, thank you. I have to go back and watch it. So you guys were on the air for 2 hours. So you were just on the air Thursday, right?
Oh, with Vanilla, yeah.
Yeah. He was watching the show right now, which I'm a big fan of his work too. So
it's a good little community here that we've all built up together, and of podcasters and friends. So
so for those of you who are not watching, when you watch this on YouTube, I'll go back in the description and on Facebook. Obviously, because I hit the wrong button or something. Shut up! Don't judge me. I'm under a lot of pressure. It's hard being this Mexican. If you're watching this on Facebook, it's been uploaded from the YouTube video, and I will make sure that you guys see all of the parts that you didn't get to see. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you're like, what did you talk about in the first 10 minutes? I'm going to go back and bring that back up, and it'll be a special little addition at the very end, so you guys can watch that. I'm sorry, it'll be another little video so you guys can watch it. But who's the guy? It absolutely is. Yes, it is tough. I even lost where I was going. Yes. So you sent me this really cool video of you mentioned me in that show, and I so appreciate that. So thank you. Thank
Oh,
you.
absolutely.
But and people are probably wondering, like, what the fuck are they talking about? How did he save his life? Yeah, well, I took his wife out, and yeah, I'm a gay man only in public. I'm so manly and butch in real life. Doesn't this look manly and butch?
I don't know. I'm wearing a cardigan and designer glasses. I don't know what's very manly about me.
So I told him that I was going to wear a cardigan to start off with in your honor, and it's sitting right across from me on the chair. There's a chair. It's like, but I didn't. But we started talking early, and again, I mentioned Christian at the beginning because Christian usually does the keeping the guest company while I'm getting everything set up, and he wasn't available today, so I had. And I was all starstruck. I was like, "Oh my God!" For those of you that don't know, I am a chubby chaser. I love my guys.
You just call me chubby? No.
Not you, but what did you say? You accept the pretty lady next to Daniel. You know what? It is the beard. I dug you without the beard, but when you grew the beard, I was like, oh my God.
I just appreciate you calling it a beard because so many people in my life call it an attempt at a beard, but thank you. It means more than you know.
There are a few men on the hall pass list that is allowed in our relationship. And let me tell you, okay, so yeah, Rich is on the hall pass. So yeah, I told them there's a couple of people, and mostly the Christian thing, and I don't know if Christian should agree to this because all of these are friends. Like the hall passes, I don't want celebrities. I don't want people that I'll never get to. I want people that I can get to. What good is a hall pass if you can't use it?
Yeah, see, mine's Carrie Underwood. I guess I should have rethought mine.
Yeah. I'm just saying, for those of you who don't know what your hall pass list is, 5 people on your list that your partner will say, yes, if that person allows you or gives you a chance to have sex, go for it. I'm not stupid. I didn't go for people I will never probably meet. I'm an actor, but what's the likelihood that I'll meet some big artist? Well, maybe I will. But I said, no, I am not stupid. Don't let this face fool you. I'm going after people that I already know. Because, well, I can't get you drunk, though. I'll get you tacos. I'll get you tacos. We are at the 45-minute mark. I am your host, Daniel G. Garza, and this is Put It Together Conversations. My guest today is the wonderful, delightful, funny guy, the Red Rich. I know we're going to go extra, but at the 45-minute mark is usually where I ask my guest to, actually on the timer it's 30 minutes, but on my time it's 45, so we're going to play my game. This is where I usually like to ask my guests to share some words of wisdom with the listeners and watchers. So what words of wisdom do you have?
Do it. Just do it. Make it happen. I spent so many years with the what if, or yeah, that would be cool if I tried this, podcasting, always a dream to do radio. I always wanted to be the next Howard Stern or the next Opie and Anthony. It was always a dream, or even on the sports side of things. I just wanted to do that. And I spent so many years in many things with well, that would be cool, but, and have a million excuses until finally, and this is when I was actually in good shape and going to the gym. This inspirational video came on, and the guy said, do the work, make it happen. Nothing else. Nothing else. No, well, what if this goes wrong? Or I don't have the means to do this. No, do the work, make it happen. And ever since that, I just changed my whole perspective. And it was, I'm going to try it. And if I fail, I fail. But at least I could say I gave it everything I had. And I usually don't accept any type of failure. I may, give a little break, but I'm going to get right back into it. So for me, yeah, words of wisdom, do the work, make it happen.
We've been talking a little bit about, and some people again, if you want to ask a question, most of you are being part of the conversation, but if you have a question that you want to include in my conversation with the Red which please put it in the comments and I'll bring it up. Do you have a pep talk for yourself? Is there something you say to yourself when you're having a doubtful moment?
Yeah, it's you're not who you were, so just keep fucking moving. Um, and I guess my pep talks have changed over time. But anytime that I'm having any self-doubt or wondering if what I'm doing is the right thing to be doing, or if I'm staying on the right roads that I need to be on, it's always okay. If you think right now is the worst, or you think right now whatever's going on in your life right now is the worst, are you the same guy that's meeting somebody at the Four Corners at 2 a.m. to buy drugs? Are you the same guy that just spent his entire amount of rent for you and your fiance, now my wife? No, you're not that guy anymore. You're not that person anymore. So, you're not who you were then, and you're a lot better now. So show everybody.
That's huge for people who are in any kind of recovery, whether it's mental, physical. What got you there?
To this point,
Yeah, to the point where you can look at yourself in the mirror and go, dude, you're not that person anymore.
100% truth. You. No BS. I've been clean for 4 years. I've been sober for 5 months from alcohol. You. Up until that point, I legitimately, I swear to you, I said this on Vanilla Show. I could not look myself in the mirror to brush my teeth. And it's not a metaphor saying I couldn't look myself in the mirror. I brushed my teeth looking down. When I did my hair, I looked up at my hair. I never looked at myself in the eyes. I couldn't. I still couldn't. All these years later, not doing any drugs for 4 years, giving up alcohol, trying to do the right thing, I still couldn't forgive myself, and I still kept bringing up that person that I was in the past. I knew I wasn't him anymore, but I had so much guilt about it, and that guilt just weighed on me, and I couldn't. I wanted so hard for everybody that I've hurt to forgive me and move forward, and most of them, if not all of them, did. Yet I wasn't doing it for myself. Fast forward, along comes you. You work with me on a private session. That thing that changed my life. Like it's that moment. Since that moment, I've been able to appreciate and like the man that I see in the mirror for the first time in 15 years. So, and that's the truth, and that's the God's honest truth. I'm not, for anybody watching, I'm not saying that because I'm sitting here. I think my wife's starting to get jealous of you because I talk about you a lot, but I'm like, yeah, I can't, because she'll say it. She's like, these have been the best. It's been 2 months already since that session. These have been the best 2 months we've had since we first started dating. Wow. Together. I mean, outside of like our kids being born, but I'm talking about on a one-on-one personal level. This has been the best too, and she'll tell you all the time. I say it all the time. Well, thanks, Daniel. That's truth.
And yes, he said this before, and I was not trying to get to that point by all means. That was not where I was thinking for. But I'll post the video he sent me, but I'll post the link so you guys can go check out the whole conversation that he had on the show, the whole interview. You're kick-ass. But for those of you wondering what he's talking about, the Cardivo, through the Cardivo brand, I have a couple of workshops, 3 workshops, and one of them is energy releasing workshop, and we work with your chakras, and we go from the root all the way up to the crown, and we dissect. We really go in there and dissect everything that's blocking you from being the most divine, best version of yourself. And I am there as just your guide, really. So although you did the work, I just sat there and the card people obviously I pulled my cards, but it was about you finding that road and realizing that there was more, there was more to do. So
for sure.
But if anybody is, I will post my information. This is not about me right now. It's always about me. But one of the things that I've discovered in my recovery is that, like you in the beginning, I had those 2 Daniels. I had the alcoholic Daniel and I had the crackhead Daniel. And they were always looking at me and judging me and going, why are you getting dressed? Why are you going to that audition? Why are you trying to get that job? Like, you're just an alcoholic. You're a crackhead. Like, you don't deserve that after all the shit you've done.
Mhm.
But I remember that I've learned stuff from them. I learned some things in my addiction. Was there anything that you've learned about yourself looking back at that time?
Yeah, I learned that I was easily manipulated by myself and by and I don't mean like people could take advantage of me. I mean like I could be manipulated by watching other people. I made all my own choices to start using 100%. There's no blame, nobody else. I had a rough childhood. Nope, nothing. I made the choices. But I would watch these other people because I was a pretty straight-laced guy. I had a couple beers and stuff like that, and I was a cigarette smoker for all my life, but I was never into partying. And I'd watch all these people have so much fun, and I wasn't having fun internally, and I could be manipulated by I want to have fun with these people. So when the opportunity came for me to party with them, I went for it. And it falls back into that not having that self-confidence. Um, well, if I say no, not that, and it was never peer pressure. Like they literally had asked me in the past, like, "Want to do a bump?" And I'd be like, "Nah, nah," or make up that lie, like, "Nah, I did some yesterday." Like I'd never done it in my life at that time, but I would be so concerned that they wouldn't invite me back over. That's the type of stuff that you have in your head, and they were never like that. The people that I was around, but learning today from it, yeah, you just kind of realize, like, man, you're stronger than you ever thought you were. You know, you're uh, you could do so much more now than you ever once thought you would, and you didn't need those drugs or anything else to make you Superman. You already had it in you, and you didn't need some kind of substance to show the world anything.
And, yeah, I remember being 19. I did drugs for the first time when I was 20.
Yeah, that's how old I was. 20.
And I think I've shared this story with people before. I was in the backseat of my car. My boyfriend at the time was driving. Our friend Kelly, I don't remember her last name, who had gotten us the coke, was in the passenger seat, and I was in the back seat. And we were listening to Seal, Crazy.
I'm sorry. I never put Seal and cocaine use into the same category, but each his own.
That's how good I am. But Crazy was playing because it just come out. The tape had just come out. This is how old we are. I didn't even have CDs, but we were playing the cassette Crazy, and I'm never gonna survive. I'm crazy. If you never heard the song, go listen to it. But we're listening to it. So we're doing it on the cassette of Seal.
Oh, okay.
That's because we just played it, and that's what's at the hand. So that's where we did coke. I was in the backseat of my Mustang, listening to Seal on the cassette, and that outside of this club in Dallas. That's the first time I did coke, and I knew then. I knew in that moment that I was hooked. Like this is me, and I'm going to. And I was known for many, many years, especially in Houston, as like I knew where the parties were. I knew where the parties.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to erase from your brain. Does that make sense?
1,000%. I've said it before. I think one of the hardest things to erase is when we were doing it, when we first got into it. It was me and a couple friends. We would go out to the bars, and we would choose which bars we were going to based off of their bathroom stalls. If they didn't have a stall that you could go in and close the latch and be private, we wouldn't go there because you'd have to stand at a urinal next to four other people, and you either could get in trouble or somebody's going to want your shit, or they could take your or they could take your stuff. So we quickly knew every spot the way we were going to go to. It unfortunately then turned into me not even going out. I would just do it at home by myself. Didn't want anybody around forever. But going out now, sometimes I'll go to a restaurant and I'll go use the bathroom, and I'll be like, this would have been a great bathroom to do blow in. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm sorry. What do you, I have the worst. I'm trying not to curse.
It's an adult show. What the fuck? Say it
no,
with me, Rich.
I will. I'll be like, what the fuck am I thinking like that for? I haven't done coke in 6 years. Because like I said, I had quit doing coke and got into pills. So why am I standing in this Chili's bathroom looking at their mahogany door going, you know what would be great? Doing a line right behind that door. Like not, and it's not that I want to do it. I don't. I truly don't. We were joking in pre-show. I'm not gonna slip up by doing, that. If I'm gonna slip up, it's gonna be something else. But that's not the point. I don't want to do it, but it's just those memories are gonna always be there. And you still kind of associate things. Regardless, I've cut a straw one time in half for my kids. The straw was too big for their cup. So I cut it in half so it fit into the cup. And as I cut it, I went, man, that's a clean cut for some lines. Like, what am I doing? But it's gonna be there. It's not gonna not. It's never gonna go away.
The thing that lingers for me is, I don't know. Okay, for people who have never done coke, this may not go. You're like, what? But there is a certain feel that a dollar bill will have after it's been used for coke. I can't explain it unless you've done it. It doesn't. But there's the paper feels different, and
Yep.
So one day, I was sorting money. Somebody had given me a bunch of I change or whatever, and I was sorting through the bills, and I felt this dollar. I was like, okay, if you spell it 3 times, that's crazy. But I did. I was like, somebody used this for coke, and my friend that I was like, how do you know? I'm like, feel it, and I'm. It's one of those stupid. She's like, feel this. Okay, now feel this. Okay, do you feel it? He's like, no. I'm like, ugh. The only thing that is not allowed here in my house is the big pens, the clear big pens.
Okay.
That's what I used to use to smoke crack with.
Oh, okay.
And one day, several years ago, there was one in the house, and like almost everybody, I have the habit of putting it in my mouth. The moment I put that pen in my mouth, I tasted the plastic, and I immediately felt high to the point where I was like, "Did you hear that? What's going on?"
Yeah.
For like 10 minutes, my body was tingling. I felt like I was cracked up, and I was like, "Can't go." I was looking in the mirror. I'm like, "Are my eyes dilated? Are my eyes dilated? What's going on?" I finally went and lay down in the bed. I'm like, "Don't move. It'll go away." And finally, I fell asleep. I just woke up, and I was like, "Okay, I'm better." But I can't have those pens around me. It's a trigger.
I don't have too many. Like most things, it took me a long time to be able to watch any type of movie that had drug use in it. Like Wolf of Wall Street. When Wolf of Wall Street first came out, I wanted to watch it, and I started to watch it. And as soon as they started doing coke, I turned it off. I was like, I couldn't do it. I only finally just watched that recently because now it's different. I can, and I really don't get triggered by it. But not so much that it's a trigger, but like it wasn't that long ago. I had a little bit of a sinus infection, and not to be disgusting, and I won't do it here, but I like kind of snorted in, and I got that taste, and I'm like, okay, I know that my nose is like massively big, but there's no way there's coke from 6 years stored anywhere in here. Is there? Is there a little rock somewhere?
In the nose cupboard,
just fell back down, but I think for me the only trigger is there's times where I'm really excited about something. Or I'm really amped up for something that's going to happen that evening. We're going somewhere, or like tonight is the McGregor fight. I'm super stoked about watching that fight. So during the daytime, I have this adrenaline rush because I'm going to be doing something that's fun this evening, something that I truly enjoy. And when I get like that, I get chatty. And as somebody who did coke, we all know when cokeheads don't shut up. They don't shut the fuck up ever. So my wife or anybody that knows my past will sometimes look at me and I feel like is he doing something? Because he hasn't shut up. That sucks, but I understand it. They've earned the right to question that. So that's the only time where like I'll have like any type of trigger is that guilt trigger. When I can see them looking at me, and even that for a brief second, that question, did he do something? Can give me like a guilt trigger.
Yeah. And these guys, when you have a bunch of funny friends watching. It's like you're watching the thread going, oh my God, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But one of the craziest things is, like I moved to California. In fact, it'll be 12 years ago, come the 29th. So people in California have never seen me do drugs, drink, or smoke, other than 2 movies that I did where I had to smoke, and but I don't drink, and if I do, it's an alcoholic beer, so every once in a while. But when I go back to Texas and I connect with old friends or people that have known me for a long time, I don't know if it's me thinking that they look at me weird or them actually looking at me weird. Well, I know people were out there like, but we always look at you weird. I know that. I know that normally you do. But you haven't known me that long, so shut up, people. But all defensive, like, you don't know me. But you know what I mean? It's like, is it crack Daniel and alcoholic Daniel coming out going, they're looking at you.
Yeah.
You. But it's really us most of the time. Does that make sense?
It does. And it's also sometimes, I don't know if you ever get it. I get it a lot where I feel like people are looking at me who knew me then and know me now and are just waiting for me to fuck up again. Yeah. And that's a drive. That's like a, yeah, wait till I don't. Wait till I don't.
One thing I want to come back to is we have you talked a little bit about the what ifs, and now that we've kind of full circle to like the drugs and alcohol and young and partying, and there's definitely a lot of what ifs that we didn't try. Is there a what if out there that you were like, I'm going to go back to
that? You mean like, is there what if
something you didn't do that you're like, I'm gonna. That's on my list. I'm gonna go back to that. I'm gonna finish.
Oh yeah. Oh, big time. There's a lot of them. For me, the biggest one, I have a lot of what if or type guilt with when my first son was born. I was using still, and I was using pills at the time, and I just wasn't. I wasn't there at all as like a dad should be for a newborn baby. Now I'm fortunate enough that he's never going to remember any of that because he was just newborn, but I do. So I always have these what ifs, like, what if I would have been, there for him more? Would my wife have not gotten the health issues that she has now? What if I was more helpful with her during her first pregnancy? Would she have some of the health things that she has? So a lot of those what ifs, they haunt me type thing. But I also have the positive what ifs. Like I've gone back to the podcasting. Podcasting is something that I wanted to do 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And it was a what if. It was what if I started this? Nobody would watch or nobody's going to care. I'm not entertaining enough. So when I was in a clear state of mind, I said, that's it. That what if is getting tackled and checked right off that list. I still have some others. Acting is a big one. I'd love to get into acting, and writing, a screenplay, book. Those are all things that I've always talked about doing. They were what ifs. And there are almost all in the process of becoming ifs, or not ifs, dones, checked off the list.
Yeah. My big thing for it was I was going to have sex with a woman before I turned 50, but then COVID. So, well, I tried. I guess that straight porn is not in my resume. But
I love that. It's like, I'll try it with a woman, but let's just give that a shot. What's this whole vagina thing about?
You put what where? Are you sure that's it? It's not Legos. Like that's not how it works. Oh yeah. That's a perfect segue. Thank you for. Yeah, I mean, I often have in the line of work that I do. It gets easier to realize that every road that I've been on through my life, every chapter that I've done, whether it had a happy ending or not, was meant to create who I am now. I don't think that I would be who I am today had it not been for all this stupid, I don't say wrong things, because they weren't wrong at the time. I would not have had a 16-year career with drugs if I didn't enjoy it at some level.
Mhm.
I would not have drank since I was 15, and if I didn't have some kind of love for it. And I did. I loved what I didn't love that I spent all my money, and I didn't love that I spent all my apartment. But
Uh,
but that still didn't stop me. So there's a fatal attraction love that exists. But I wouldn't be who I am today had I not been homeless, had I not lost my car, lost my job. It makes me value what I have today. Does that make sense to you?
no, it makes a ton of sense. And it's one of those things, it's like my answer has slightly changed, and for one reason only. I used to tell people all the time I wouldn't change a single thing, nothing, because it's made me who I am today. That's the most common answer, and it's the truth. It does. These trials, these tribulations, these demons that we've fought off made us who we are today. Looking back on things now, yeah, there are things I would change, but those are the things that I've said to people or the ways that I hurt people. I'd love to be able now, listen, not that I'd love to be able, but if I could go back in time, I would not have not done drugs. I would not have not been an addict because it made me who I am today. But I would have hurt a lot less people and said a lot less hurtful things to the people that you love the most during those times.
Yeah.
The manipulation, the lying, the lying and the stealing are going to happen. It's inevitable. If you're a drug addict, you are going to lie. You are going to steal. That's just what you do. But as far as the verbal beat downs that I gave to people, my wife, my family, friends that uh, were around throughout everything part of my life, the way that I would speak to people, I'd go back in a heartbeat and change all that. Um, but as far as going back, no, who's that bit? Who says it? God bless the broken road that led me here to you. I mean, that's my song to me because
Rascal
it,
Flatts.
that's it. Rascal Flatts. That's worst haircut in country music ever. But it's the truth. It generally makes you who you are today, and I like it as a fact that I can know. I feel like I'll have a no, somewhat of a no, if my kids are up to something when they're all getting older, because I did it. I snuck around everywhere you could, and I did everything that you could. So I feel like maybe I'll have a little inkling if they're getting into some shit that they shouldn't be getting into. It was fun as a bouncer when I was sober and clean when I was clean as a bouncer. I'd watch people. I'd be like, "You have coke, you have coke, you have coke, you have meth." But it was it was became a skill.
Yeah, I've been to events sober, and I did a lot of promotions and events, and so I work events, and I'm walking around, and I'm like, "You're a coke." And I'm like, "How do you know?" I'm like, "No."
Yeah, well, your jaw's going a million times, and you won't take your hand off the baggie in your pocket.
And I say, "Hey, no teeth." There's a reason why I said that. Um, what are you stopping, people? This is a family show. But if you don't get the joke, you don't have to get the joke. Don't get it. I you know, there was uh, there was a time when they told me like, don't have regrets. Everything was supposed to happen happens. Everything. My only regret in life, though, is that my mom started developing Alzheimer's when she, about 15 years or 14 years ago, right before I went to rehab. And then I went to rehab. So she never really got to see me as an adult. And
Mhm.
so I drank since I was 15 and I partied since I was 20. So I went to rehab when I was 36. So she never got to see me. That's my only regret. I wish she had seen me clean and sober, like a functioning adult should.
Yeah,
Um, but in her honor, and I mentioned she passed away recently. But in her honor, I do it. I don't stay clean for her. I stay clean for me because
yeah,
ultimately the only person I'm fucking over is myself.
yep.
But I have her in my mind, and I just recently I don't do a lot of stitches or duos on TikTok anymore. But one of them was like, "What's the best advice your mom ever gave you?" And my mom would tell me when I was a teenager, because I was not a very good kid. People just thought I was a good kid. I got away with so much shit. But I think I did because I recently connected with an old friend from when I was young, and she was like, "We don't know what you were up to." I'm like, "Oh, "How dare you? I was up to nothing. How dare you?" Um, but my mom, before I would go to bed at night, like our conversations were at night, and she'd be like, "So, how was your day? Is there anything you want to tell me? Did you do anything?" I'm like, "No, I'm an angel, mother." And she was like, "If you can put your head on the pillow tonight and sleep in peace and wake up tomorrow just fine and go to bed." And it would take like five
Oh,
seconds. And like, I did this and I did that. And she's like, "Okay."
that's
Like, oh,
harder than that's like harder than the whole I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed.
my,
That
my
what you
dad did
just
that
said,
one.
that ooh, like that's up here type
Yeah.
stuff.
My dad did the "I'm disappointed" thing. My mom did that. "Well, if you're okay, go to bed." And you're like, and because then sometimes she would throw in the, because if we die when we're asleep, or like your last thing to me is you lied to me, or, and I'd be like, "Dare you, woman?" Uh, so that's, but even when I was going through rehab and then when I was making amends to people, that stuck in my head. Uh, uh, that like I need to be on the clear. Like I need to make sure that when I go to bed at night, and I will text people at some, like I'll program it so that it's the first thing they see in the morning. Like, "Hey, I apologize. I said this, or I didn't do this, or I forgot
Yeah.
to send you this shit. Like I apologize. Like even to my boyfriend, like, hey, before we go to bed, I gotta clear some air because I don't want to. Like, what if I die? Like, what if I
No.
die and I show up to heaven and they're like, oh shit, man, we just got this from last night. Fucked up, dude. Like we were always gonna we're gonna let you in because you're kind of funny and you make good tacos, but like you told us a lie before you went to bed."
Yeah, no, you it's it. Close the gates. I have this huge thing. I don't care how mad you are at somebody. Um, the words "I hate you" will never be uttered to me or from me to anybody. Like if somebody is like, "I hate you," joking or not, it will destroy me because it's one of these weird things. It's like in high school, our senior year, I lost my best friend in a really crazy car accident on Halloween night, and we were messing around on the front lawn of the school, like pretend fighting. And the dean thought it was real, so he tried to separate us. And he was like, "No, no, we're just playing around." So he was like, "Come on, come out with me tonight, Halloween." And I was like, "Nah, I hate Halloween. I'm going home." And he's like, and he called me Dickie. I don't know why oh, well, that's a whole nother. So he's like, "Oh," he's like, "Whatever, Dickie, I hate you. See you later." And got in the car. That's the last thing that he ever said to me. He did not mean it, but it just stuck with me so much. Like that's the last thing that you could say to somebody. Granted, he was playing around completely, and I know this, and I knew it at the moment. But it's like, what if it's not a playing around? What if you're in the heat of a moment argument and you're like, "You know what? I hate you." That's the last thing you just said to somebody that you truly love and you're just mad at for a minute. So that's mine. Like, no way in chance will I ever use the "I hate you." I won't say it.
Uh, so for everybody out there, like listen to your mother. Like, she knows what to talk about.
Yeah.
But no, you're asking what was my turning point from addiction. I went to jail. That was the turning point, and it was in Oz. And I was like, "Fuck you, I'm out of here." Uh, long story short, I had trouble with an employer, and I borrowed a laptop, and then I was accused of stealing, so I had to go to court.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, they said. Um, but I ended up going to jail, went to court. The judge, uh, so that's when I was still on drugs. I kept going and peeing dirty, and my probation officer was like, "What are we gonna do with you?" Like I had no priors, I never got in trouble. I've always been a kiss ass, and like I said earlier, I've done bad shit. I just don't get caught. And I mean, I used to, not anymore. I'm a tax-paying citizen now. But so I went to court, and the judge said, like, we'll give you, you can choose between a year in jail or 3 months in rehab. And I thought about it. I really did thought about it. So like, go home, think about it, and your probation officer will report back. So she takes me to the office. She's like, So what do you want to do? I'm like, what kind of jail? Like, what are you talking about here?
Isn't it messed up? That's that you'd rather go to jail than quit doing.
I was like, yeah. I'm like, what kind of jail? She's like, well, you're going to prison. You're not going to county. You're going to prison for a year. And I was like, and in my head, I joke about it, but I was so serious. I was like, is it like Oz? Like maybe somebody's bitch? Like, you mean like guys in the shower drink all the time and drop the soap kind of jail? Like I could like every gay man's fantasy. Like I watch pornos. I've been training for this moment. And so she's like, no, that's nothing like that. She's like, she goes, look, pick rehab. And I was like, fine. So I had a party. I was supposed to check in on a Thursday. I had a party on Wednesday at the bar that I was supposed to go to, that I used to go to, and I did drugs afterwards. A party. I'll see you guys in 3 months. Yeah. And went to rehab, and they were like, fuck you. We're about to destroy you here. And I had 27 brothers in that house. Unfortunately, some of them didn't make it. Some of them are not around anymore. But my first sponsor there, who still sends me texts every day, he sends me a prayer every day. This is 13 and a half years later. When I would go to him, I'm like, I'm an alcoholic because I'm gay, and people, he's like, fuck you. You were alcoholic before you were sucking dick, so shut the hell up. Dare you? And I'm like, it's because I'm Latino, and everybody hates Latinos. And he's like, you were an addict before you were a spick, so shut the hell up. I was like, how dare you, sir? I will let you know. But he completely, it was like a Jenga game that wasn't even started. He's like, build it up, and build it the way that you want it. Build up, man, that you want people to see you.
Mm-hmm.
And I took that literally. That was the summer. When I was 36, I learned how to really throw a football. I learned how to really light a fire and cook and grill. I learned how to nail and how to saw and how to paint. That summer, for me, it was summer vacation. I went to rehab at that summer camp because I went in on June 21st. Oh, okay. And then came out August 23rd because I stayed 2 extra days because I cried. I didn't want to go home. And I was like, you leave on Wednesday? I'm like, no, I want to stay till Friday because that's
I couldn't wait to go home.
And I ended up staying 2 extra days, and I almost got a job at the rehab. Now looking back, I'm so glad they didn't hire me because I'm here.
Yep.
But answering that question, who helped me? There's been a group of people, but the very first sponsor, his name is Tim. He's like 6'2", massive redneck. From I'm not gonna say what, but out in Texas. You need to follow another show to hear that story. But he completely tore me apart, and he said, "You have no excuses other than you don't want to get better."
Mm-hmm.
That's the only excuse about it. Do you not want this so I can stop? And I was like, holy shit. Like, okay. And then the people around you, and I'm not going to lie, sometimes you see people that don't make it and you're like,
yeah.
Like, do I want to go that path or do I want to stay where I am? And I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like, it's like, I'm very blessed and I'm very grateful. And God and the universe, they spoil me to no end. They give me freaking amazing opportunities. But they do it because not to compare to anybody else, because I keep myself in the right track.
Sure.
They look at me and they go, "You're doing good. You're doing good. Here's a taco. Go eat." Like, got it. Yeah. They don't give me burgers or steaks. I'm like, "Here's a taco. Go sit down and eat."
I'd love a steak for doing the right thing. Jesus, I probably would have never done. Listen, if you quit doing coke, I'll give you steak for the rest of your life. I might have done that.
Well, we would say, I'll let you have some meat if you something. But that's just me. I've been training for this. Yes, I've been to training for this. What is keeping you on track?
With that 100,000% without a doubt, my wife and my 2 little boys. For two reasons. One, I know for a fact, and rightfully so, that if I fall off any of these wagons, I don't have that on-off switch. Like I know people that are like fell off the wagon, but get right back, right back. Okay, we're good, we're good, we're good. You know what I mean? Like I'm going back. No, like I would just disappear for another 2 months. But I do know for a fact that they will either one, they're gone. They're leaving me. And rightfully so. Um, they're not going to put up with that. My wife's not going to raise her sons to live in a house with somebody that's an addict. They did for too long. And then the other part of that is I don't want to ever disappoint them ever again. I don't want my kids to tell stories when they're older of, yeah, you know, my dad was a junkie who just kind of nodded off all the time, or, you know, hey, I didn't learn how to have catch with my dad because he was too busy, you know, down in the basement doing whatever he was doing. I don't want those memories for them. So I just don't want to disappoint anybody ever again, and I don't want to lose them. And that's literally what keeps me, because there's days, dude, I'll be honest with you, I am in so much physical pain with either my back or my knees, and then there's times when I'm in emotional pain where I'm just depressed and I don't know why, or I just can't stop crying and I don't know why, that I wish I had a number of somebody to call to get one of those just little blue pills, not that blue pill, a different blue pill, the oxy pill, and take a handful of them and feel that numbness. Because painkillers didn't actually kill your pain, they just masked it, but they made you numb. And I think about it. I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't really think about doing coke. I could tell stories and joke about doing coke. Pills, I still think about doing all the time, but I never will again. I miss drinking, but not as much as I thought I would. It's the pills have been the hardest thing in my life, and there's times that I miss the hell out of it. But I know that 5 hours, 6 hours of a high is not worth me never seeing my boys again and never seeing my wife again.
I do that. I sometimes, especially during the stress of the last year, I'm like, I'm already home. I'm alone. Who would know?
Right?
But I would know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's ultimately at the end of it all, I know that I messed up, and that's the that's the heaviest load to carry around. And I know about heavy loads. So, but shut up! This is a family show. Jesus Christ. We're coming down to the end. We're gonna wrap this up at 1:15. I want to thank all you guys for joining us. If you have one last question, please throw it out. You guys have been an amazing audience today. I so appreciate it. Let me pull out. Of course, I'm saying this like y'all don't know who's this. If you need to follow Red Rich, there's this Instagram to go. I learned that trick from you. I'm like, I'm not putting my guest information up. I need to put that information up. So, before you go, I just want to say how not going to cry. You're going to cry. I'm not a sissy. I have learned so much from you, watching you work, and your professionalism and your personality, and just how open and creative you are. You are one of those people that I look up to, not because I'm short, but because you, just because you're pretty awesome. I'm so honored that you decided and agreed to come on the show. And thank you for just being a friend. No, this is not a freaking Golden Girls moment, so shut up, people.
Thank you for being a friend. No, dude, thank you, man. I'm honored by those words. It's so I've said it before. I suck at taking like a compliment. Like I get like embarrassed by it. But it really does mean a lot. And what it does for me, and those questions of, am I doing the right thing? Is this good enough type thing? You hear something like that, and when you know it's sincere, is just amazing. I can't thank you enough. And very equally so towards you. I can't tell you enough that you've helped me in ways that I could never thought I would be able to be helped. And I appreciate you and your friendship, and you having me on your show, and you being a part of my show, and just a part of my life in general. And I really do adore the hell out of you.
Thank you. And for those of you watching, because I know most of you are also have your own shows, let's do a reunion. Let's do a reunion show, and let's all get together on one
Mhm.
channel and cross
We should,
reference to each other.
we should do a super show, and we could stream on everybody's channels at the same time.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
should.
And,
I know.
so let's do that.
I can speak for Piper. I think on this one, I know she's down.
Yeah. We'll reach out. We'll
Yeah,
get
let's
together
do
so we
that.
can connect. Any last words before? Oh, first of all, let them know when's your show and let everybody know what they're watching.
Oh yeah, so we're live Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Wednesday. It is live, and this upcoming week, well, no, today's Saturday, so this upcoming Wednesday, we actually have Beer Bong John coming on, who massive following, fortunate enough to become friendly with him, and he is going to be a guest on our show. So we have a lot of great guests coming up this whole month. We did in January, February. We have some great ones. We're already booking into March. I'm so blessed, so fortunate, and it's because of people like you, Daniel, people like you guys that are watching, that are here supporting the both of us, that I could even get those names on mine and Piper's show. So yeah, it's going to be good.
We have a consensus now. Most of these guys are willing to, so we'll do it. We'll have a big orgy. I mean, a big show. I don't know the English very well. I get confused with the words. I feel like we could go on forever. But for everybody watching, at 2:00 Pacific Standard Time, which I'm going to end the show and start another show. It's my episode 300. I am hitting 300 on my podcast. So put it together. Monday, January 25th, I will be on the air for 9 years. This will be my 9th year going the podcast. Thank you. At 2:00, if you guys want to come back for the 2:00 show, my producer, Mr. Kevin Moyers, if you hear my shows, you hear me talking about him all the time. He's going to be my guest. I had to do 300 with him. I couldn't have sex with anybody. I mean, I couldn't do a show with anybody else but him. He knows how to take it. So he's gonna come on the show. I'm gonna take that first clip from the original and put it out there. If I can find it, if it downloads it. If not, follow, subscribe, comment, come back. Dude, will you come back another time?
Any day of the week, you just let me know. I'm there.
Excellent. And remember, catch his show on Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. At the end of the show, if you stick to the whole show, you will hear my horoscopes for the week, my odd scopes for the week.
We love closing out our show with that. I think sending people out with that little bit of positivity, and it's great because I see the view. I watch it, and it's like, people wait and they see it, and they're not even leaving after theirs. They're staying for the other ones too. So we love ending the show on that.
That's awesome. And again, talk about criticism. Every time the last two that I watched, I'm like, that was horrible.
Oh yeah, you texted me as they were going on, like, we need to fix this. I'm like, I think it's great.
Yeah, I was like, that looks like shit. Who is that Mexican? Get him off the air. They're taking my job. For everybody watching, don't go, man. Just stay on here, man. For everybody watching, this has been Putting Together Conversations. My guest today is my brother, Red Rich. Check him out. All his information will be in the description, either here on Facebook or on YouTube. So find it, go subscribe to his page. I want to thank my director, Mr. Christian Paul Ramirez, my producer, Mr. Kevin Moyers, my media producer and manager, Mr. Jose Reyes from Hubris Management, and my agent, Ms. Jennifer Sims from RPM Talent. Thank you all you guys for helping me put all this together. Rich, come back, man.
Absolutely.
You're a delight, and I can't get enough of you.
Thank you so much for having me. I can't wait to come back.
Even without a soul, I think you're. But for everybody else watching, I'm Daniel G. Garza, and hey, put it together. See you next time.